India's civil movements. And he also said that the Paris deal will have an enormous impact on people.
The United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has announced that on 4th of November, the Paris Agreement now comes into effect. With me is the Under Secretary General of the United Nations, Erik Solheim, and he also heads the United Nations Environmental Program, the UN Environment. Sir, welcome to Doordarshan News. My first question, of course, is now this agreement comes into effect, what will be its impact, its outcome?
This, of course, is an extremely important development. India, China, the United States, Europe, all agreeing to clamp down on climate emissions. And I'm very confident that we will now see a huge change in the world.
Can you just enumerate some examples where India's environmental policies can be emulated across the globe?
India has some of the strongest civil movements for the environment in the world, which is inspiring political leaders like Prime Minister Modi and others, and they're also inspiring to the world. To give an example, I just came from Mumbai, where some neighbors just looked out of the window they saw the enormous plastic pollution at the beach there, and they said to themselves, we cannot live like this any longer. And then they started picking the plastic, and it's the biggest pickup of plastic anywhere in human history.
My last question, there must be some deficiencies in the global environment regime now also, despite the fact that the world community converged and signed the Paris deal. What are those deficiencies, and how these deficiencies can be eliminated so that we can have a better future for the next generation?
The biggest problem is that we do not globally apply the polluter pay principles. When there is a small profit for an individual or a company to destroy the environment, we allow the costs of that to be paid by the taxpayers or the next generation or the global community. We must make sure that those who pollute the environment pay the actual cost. Then we will see a rapid reduction of pollution. And I think we are now at a point in Indian history where we will see strong measures taken. I've been studying the Ganga cleanup coming here, and because that's one of the key projects also Prime Minister Modi.
4th of November will be that day when the Paris Agreement comes into effect, a historic day, and finally the world has converged to come up with a conclusive deal which will help save our environment and give a better future for the coming generations. With camera person Dubey, Siddhant Sibal, DD News, New Delhi.
Well, the Supreme Court will pass an order tomorrow after the BCC